Yes, we're talking about how grief can heal you. I know that sounds kind of crazy to some people. Like, what the heck are you talking about? My grief is destroying me. And I understand that. I was in the same boat as you. Anyone who's lost someone they love is devastated by their loss. That goes without question. I'm not saying you're supposed to be happy about it. Let's be clear on that. What we are going to talk about is why the passing of somebody from this world to the next can be an actually transformative experience. It can completely open you up on a spiritual level. It can be the catalyst for a level of personal and spiritual growth that you never experienced before. It may even be the reason, in some cases, why your loved one left this world, believe it or not, because they knew that their crossing over would probably get you to ponder the nature of existence. That point was proven to me years ago when I did a reading for a couple who came to visit me at the store that I was working in at the time. And they were distraught because their little girl, who was 3 years old at the time, had come down with leukemia. And they wanted to know why. Well, wouldn't any parent want to know, why is this happening to my child? Are they going to make it? You know, what is the point? Why would God do this to us? All those big questions. Well, as they sat there in front of me and I heard this and tuned in to their little girl, I immediately heard her talking and I conveyed to them what she was telling me. And what she said was, I'm leaving this world in order to help you learn that there is no death because we're going to stay in touch, or at least they could stay in touch. And I wasn't prepared for that. I really wasn't ready to hear that because I wasn't doing mediumship. This was just a channeled reading. I knew I was picking up on their daughter. I knew I was conveying her message to them. But it never occurred to me that someone would deliberately dip their toe into life, like this little girl was, and deliberately choose to withdraw. And that one of the reasons, probably one of many reasons, was to be the trigger, if you will, for their parents to go on a spiritual awakening if they chose to. Now, when I told the parents this, they sat there for a while, kind of not knowing what to make of it. But I knew that they were more spiritually aware people. They weren't ordinary people, like completely new to the whole concept of spiritual development, even though this is back in like 1990. And they said, you know what? I can see that. The father said, I can see that as hard as it is, I can see that. And they were okay about it. I don't think they were completely at peace about it yet, but they understood it. And it stuck with me, all those years ago. It really stuck with me. It was only later when I really started studying into consciousness and existence and what happens when souls return home, or why we even leave when we do. And I realized, okay, there's a reason for everything. And so a baby who, let's say, dies from crib death, right? Like they're just sleeping in their crib and they pass over. Well, apparently the reason is they've only needed that brief moment in existence to be here and then leave. So nothing's really gone wrong. Of course, it's hard to tell the parents that. They're going to be devastated. Get it. That's totally understandable. But from the soul's perspective, it knows that it's eternal. It knows that there's no end, there's no death. It knows that they can continue to connect with those they love in the physical as they return to non-physical. And in that little girl's case, she apparently said that that was her mission. Like, I'm here to help my parents wake up. I- And it could very well be that that was your loved one's mission, let's say, or part of their life mission, right? Is to awaken you to who you really are. Because let's face it, most people are walking around in this world asleep to who they really are. They think that this existence, 3D physical existence, is all there is. And they don't even contemplate the idea that they're a spirit. And that's okay because we came here knowing that we were going to forget who we truly are. It's part of the deal. Nothing's gone wrong here because you forgot, right? Nothing has gone wrong. But we also knew that for those of us living right now, we knew that we'd be awakening, if we chose to, during the time of the ascension, where more people were going to realize that they were more than a physical body, that they're a spirit living in a physical existence, right? And more people are getting that. Every day, more and more people are waking up to that I'm a spirit, I'm not just a body. And that changes everything. And when you understand that your loved one on the other side is not lost to you, except in your own thinking. So if you believe they're lost to you, you believe they're gone, you're going to create that disconnection. But it's not real, because even if you believe that and you experience that, it doesn't change the fact that they're not dead. And in fact, they're right there with you. But because you're choosing to believe they're not here, then you're going to pinch off your ability to connect and you're going to experience their loss, right? But that's you and I, if I do that. We're doing it, not them, ever, not them. So that's why I say that grief can be, in fact, a master healer. It can lead us to explore who we really are, what existence really is, what did I come here for? If my love was on the other side and I reach for them and I try to connect, is that going to open me up? Hell yes, that's going to open you up because that's what it does. You stretching yourself, stretching your mind in your perception, in your belief, in your thinking, stretching your energy body in your attempt to reach to the veil and feel them, connect with them, hear them, sense in some way, that's going to open you up. It starts to raise your frequency, okay? You're not going to necessarily go all the way and be completely awakened, but it begins the process. It begins the journey of you discovering who you really are, which is why you're here. It's why we're all here. We're all here to become who we truly are. Part of that is understanding that we're a spirit. You can't get around that. Can't get around the fact that you're a spirit. So if you're going to become fully who you are and step into that and have all of your energy because you're living authentically, you automatically are going to be more intuitive, more psychic, more sensitive. You're automatically going to be able to perceive what up till now may have been unseen to you, because that's what's involved here. That's what people discover. That's what I discovered when I began channeling nonstop for 5 months, not knowing that connecting to the spirit world for my guides, channeling them, bringing them through, was going to open me up. Like nobody told me that was going to happen, but that does happen because I became more expanded. I became more of who I always have been, but have forgotten. And so can you. Nobody needs to take psychic development classes if they just became who they truly are. That's the path. And in fact, if you take psychic development classes by itself, that's not going to do it. I know this because I used to teach psychic development classes, and I see that people were still struggling in their lives. Sure, they were more open psychically. They could more perceive things, give readings, you name it. But it didn't mean they were necessarily happier. It didn't mean they were more fulfilled. It didn't mean they're trusting their guidance. They just now had more of their psychic senses accessible to them. Okay. But when you lose someone, and I hesitate to even use the word lose because you can't lose somebody who's not lost because they're right here. But when you have the experience of loss and you experience the physical loss of them, because that's true, they're physically not present, that can be a strong motivator for you to now look at life in a different way, to explore it. And many people are doing that. You see that, like on Facebook, all these groups filled with literally hundreds of thousands of people, and every day more people coming in, wanting to understand if their loved one is still here. And if so, how can they connect with them? I would say everybody pretty much at some point in their life is going to ask that question. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday they will lose someone, and chances are, not everybody, but a lot of people will then start asking, could it be possible that this presence that I'm feeling, this energy that's coming over me out of nowhere, could that be my loved one? And it sets them off on this journey to figure this out. That is the journey of awakening. And that is what we came here for. And that is why death can be a gift, if we see it that way, that it's going to bring us not only back to them, but back to ourselves, right? I'm not saying this is an easy journey. It's not an easy journey. But it doesn't have to be a depressing one. It doesn't have to ruin your life. It doesn't have to send you right into depression for decades. And I know people who are still in the same state of depression, pretty much, as when their loved one passed, and it's been 20, 30 years later. And you may know people like that too. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to wait till you cross over and meet them on the other side to connect and engage with them. Sure, it's going to be different, but it doesn't mean it's going to be less than what you had. But you and I have to be willing to heal what is blocking us, what is holding us back from being who we truly are. Our fears, our trauma, our limiting beliefs, all those things have got to be dealt with. That's it. Because psychic ability alone isn't going to elevate you, raise your frequency. I can't, I've lost count of the number of psychics I've met, mediums I've met over the 37 years I've been in this business. And I don't think I really met anybody who I thought had really evolved spiritually. And I've not met some people who are very gifted. And don't get me wrong, wonderful people. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I'm just talking about having a higher frequency, a higher awareness, a higher vibration. Okay. And again, lovely people in many cases, not all cases necessarily, but in most cases. But that doesn't mean that they were happy in their life. And there's this misconception out there that the public has that if somebody's psychic, they're special, like they're more evolved, they're more together. In many cases, it's quite the opposite. You don't have to be psychic to connect to your loved one on the other side. The thing is, as you raise your frequency, that all happens. But you cannot raise your frequency if you're not following your passion, which is your higher guidance, which is your excitement, your joy, doing what you feel guided or nudged to do from a positive place. Okay, not from anxiety, but from joy. When you're leading with that, with the joy, with the excitement, then yes, you're in tune with who you truly are, and life gets good. And you raise your frequency, and you discover, as because you raise your frequency, that you can sense more, that you know more about what's going on. You just find that. That's what happened to me. And like literally overnight, where I became completely telepathic, which I don't recommend. And I just knew what everybody in the room, I knew who they were. Now I understand that's what it's called telepathy, where you are on the same wavelength with people and you just know who they are without knowing how you know who they are. You just know who they are. You know what's really going on with them. You know if they tell you they're happy, if they're really happy, or they're just telling you, a load of rubbish, or you just know. And I knew those things. I knew things about people that had no business knowing because I was in tune with them, because my frequency was high. It was so wild that I couldn't even get readings from other psychics for, well, actually forever practically. And I didn't understand that, because I would sit down with a psychic who was very, very talented, very gifted. I knew that. And they couldn't read me. They couldn't read me. They would tell me stuff and I'd go, no, like that doesn't quite relate. Like they were kind of fishing. They just couldn't read me. And I knew they were good at what they could do, right? So for the longest time, I didn't understand what that was. What was wrong with me? I thought something was wrong with me. And it wasn't until years later when I gave a reading to another psychic, and this woman turned out to be from Thailand. And she was very intense. And she leaned over and she says, "You have a hard time getting readings, don't you?" And I said, "Well, yeah." She goes, "Do you know why?" I said, "No, I've always wondered why." "Well, I'll tell you. It's because they can't read you. You're not on their level. You're up here. All the people who are reading you are below you of your vibration. And that's why they cannot read you. Someone has to be on your level or higher to read you, or there's no connection." So I said, "Oh, that makes sense." And then I told my husband, Alan, and he goes, he says, "That figures." He says, "That figures." And I didn't understand that. And the only reason my vibration is higher, not necessarily anything special about me, folks, is because I didn't have very many, if all, at all, limiting beliefs. I didn't have all the baggage that people have. That's the thing that's blocking you from connecting. That even if you opened up psychically, would still block you on some level from connecting. We know this because even mediums have trouble continuing their relationships through the veil. It's that. Okay. And that's why when the loved one crosses over, they're inviting us to really heal ourselves, not just go and take classes, but heal our limiting beliefs, false definitions of ourselves and life, right? To just clear out the clutter, clear things out. And I was just fortunate that I didn't have that. I didn't start out with a lot of clutter. And as someone I met when I took my channeling workshop told me, who became a good friend, and he was a transcendental meditation teacher. He used to travel to India and study with the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, whatever his name is, you know what I mean, back then in the day when transcendental meditation was huge. And this lovely man who I met when I took the channeling course, he said later he saw me. He because he could, of course, completely psychic. And he said, "I saw you in class and I knew that you would take off with this because you didn't have any clutter like in within you. Like if people were like houses, most people's houses, meaning this is their being, right? Their consciousness is full of junk from the basement to the attic, all kinds of limiting beliefs and fears and doubts and insecurities and on and on." And he said, "I looked at you and you had nothing there, virtually nothing. It was spacious, it was open. And he and I became friends, and he even came to help me when I started doing readings at fairs, psychic fairs. He volunteered to come and help me. I don't know why he did that, because he said he believed in me and he saw my abilities. Okay, so I have that, but that's me. But I just know that this is possible because when I went through my awakening, other stuff got shifted, and it can shift for you too, because I kept reaching for spirit. So when you reach for your loved one across the veil, or your guides and your angels, okay, the same thing is happening because you're connecting with them in the fifth dimension. You can't go there because you're in the physical body, so you can't take your body to the other side, but you can connect with the energy there, right? You can bring their energy here. You can merge with them, blend with them, and that's what you're doing. Do you see why that is superior to just doing mediumship and just saying, okay, they're saying this and this, and just doing it that way, mental mediumship? We're just talking mind to mind. No, in channeling, you're actually blending and merging. And when it's someone you love, whether that's a parent or child or friend, or partner, doesn't matter. But because of the bonds of love, and especially when it's a partner, you can blend really deeply. And it's appropriate because of the bonds of love. It's not appropriate for a stranger to go that deep. Sure, I could channel your loved one. Okay, I could, like I did that little girl. Okay, but I'm not going to have the same experience as the parents would have if they decided that they wanted to connect with her on that deeper level. Okay, that's just how it is. But can I channel your loved one? I can. But you can, and that is most important, right? We are going to be entering, well, I was going to say we're going to be entering, but Alan just corrected me and says we are entering, we're already in the time when people are meant to go direct. No intermediaries. Whether you're talking about the church and the church saying, we're the gateway to God, come through us, right? Right? Is that what the churches do? Any religion does. It's like, we're the gatekeepers, pay your toll, put your donation in the basket, whatever, and then we'll hook you up with God. Same thing with mediums. Bless their hearts. They in time will be out of a job because all of us are mediums, all of us are psychic, and that's what the awakening is bringing to us, is opportunity to heal ourselves, and in so doing tap into everything that's always been here. Mediumship wasn't ever meant to be some rare special gift for only a few people. It used to be for everybody. It used to be common. And it is common in some indigenous cultures for them to commune with spirits like they're still here because they are. Okay, but the modern world has gotten away from that. Well, we're going back to our roots. We're going back to where we always were in the beginning and got away from it. Okay, because to be human means you're a soul, and to be a soul means you're completely psychic. And because you have loved ones that are always eternally connected to you, of course you can channel them. Of course you can communicate with them. But you got to elevate your consciousness. You got to heal what is holding you down, what is keeping your vibration dense, whether that's, fear, self-judgment, right? All of that has got to go. But grief doesn't have to destroy you. It doesn't have to be an obstacle to you. Now you're on a journey, if you choose to take it, to discover who you are as a spirit. I understand. Maybe you're not ready for that. Maybe you just think this is crazy. I can't do that. Like how do I even begin? Okay, I get it. And that may not be your purpose, at least right now. That's okay. I'm just planting the seed in your mind, because if this is your path and you've then you've pre-planned it in this life, then it will awaken in you. It will come a time when you'll go, oh, I remember hearing that I'm a spirit, right? I'm not a physical being, I'm a spirit. So then that will be your time. We're just here to speak our truth. We don't care whether you believe it or not. It's okay if you don't. It's not going to change what I'm saying. It's never going to change our message. It is what it is, right? But you are going to see more people waking up and wanting to understand who they really are, because that's what this time we're living in is about. There is a lot of confusion, there's a lot of chaos going on. Do your best not to get distracted by that. Do your best to just rise above it. But here's the beautiful thing. Our loved ones want to help us through these chaotic times. They've always wanted to help us from the other side. And right now, Ellen says they're coming through even stronger than ever. Let me remind you that spirit began making its presence known more widely in the modern world. At the beginning of, the other past century, with spiritualism, the rise of spiritualism. And the people started hearing raps and taps on the walls, like the famous Fox sisters in New York, upper state New York. They started to be mediums bringing through messages, and all that took off, especially in England, where spiritualism is still going strong. But that was spirit's doing. It wasn't our doing. I want you to really think about that. It's not like those sisters decided, well, we want to talk to the dead. It's just the noises just started happening, and they started to pick up on it because clearly that was their sole plan, was to open the door to spiritualism. But it was spirit that was rapping on the wall, not them. And it's still spirit that symbolically is rapping on the wall. But now they're coming through to ordinary people, not by necessarily rapping on the wall, although they can turn on and off the lights. They certainly do that a lot. And I'm sure you've heard of that. But they're also making their presence known in many other ways, through tingles and chills and heat and coolness. And a lot of people, and I've been noticing a lot of people saying this in other groups, right? They don't get it. They don't know that that's their loved one. They just think it's weird. Like, oh, could this sudden waterfall of energy that comes down my right side be spirit? That would happen to me when I would do channeling sessions for people periodically. When spirit wanted to emphasize a point I was making, I would feel this rush of energy just come down my right side of my body, unmistakable. And I'd go, okay, they want me to point out that what I just said to you was very important. So take note, right? That is the most common form of spirit communication. It's just those energy chills or tingles or heat or coolness. Your body doesn't make that up, folks. Where did you get off thinking that, oh, I must have made that up? Your body doesn't know how to do that. Can you try and do that right now? Tell yourself, oh, I want to create goosebumps only on one half of my body, okay, from head to toe. Please do that right now. I challenge you to do that, because you can't. And your physical mind, your physical body doesn't make that up out of nothing. Those experiences are spirit. It's spirit communication. You can't be sure which spirit, but it's spirit communication. Here's another example of how they communicate. I was teaching a workshop after Alan passed, and COVID was still around. So people were wearing masks, and I was in this small room, and there was only I think about 8 people. And they had to be distanced because of COVID, and I'm teaching. And I'm talking as soon as I start talking about Alan, every single person around me felt goosebumps all through their body. And they all said that. One said it first, and the other ones go, oh, me too. Oh, me too. Oh, me three. Every person at the exact moment, had full head to toe goosebumps, chills, tingles, whatever you want to call it. And we knew that that was Alan, right? That's how they communicate. So they're here and they're getting stronger. And people who are not even, let's say, psychic, or they wouldn't call themselves psychic at all, they're having these experiences and they just shrug it off. They just, oh, that's weird. And you know how the spirit world takes it. I mean, they understand. Don't get me wrong. They're not upset, but they just go, Jesus, I'm trying so hard to get through to my loved one that I'm here. And all they do is go, oh, that's just so strange. I must be making that up. And people are so worried that they're crazy. Well, you got to get over that because this is not crazy. It's how the spirit world has always connected with us. So if you want contact and you don't want to just accept grief, meaning you're accepting that they're gone, because really, what choice do you have? You're either going to accept that they're gone and hopefully you'll see them when you cross over, if you believe that. But in any case, you're going to say, okay, they're gone and I'm not going to really have contact. Or you reach for contact. I don't think there's any in between there. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is there any between? Should I just sit on the fence? Sit on the fence is kind of not having it anyway because you're not doing anything to work on your development. So we're here to talk to you about that, to encourage you to focus on your spiritual development if you want contact through the veil. Forget psychic development classes. I've had so many people tell me that they were disappointed in taking mediumship training or even plant medicine for that matter and go, well, that didn't really sustain anything. It didn't. No, because you got to change on a core level. Not just add psychic sensitivity to your issues. That's not the solution. You've got to clear out the inner clutter, and then you're clear channel and you're able to lift your frequency, raise your vibration, and connect in an incredible way. But not only that, folks, here's the critical piece. You didn't come here to just have this relationship, as special, as beautiful as it is. You came here to live your life, to be you, to be all of who you truly are. And if you only focus on connecting with them and you miss being you, miss living your life fully, well, you kind of wasted this incarnation because it's never been about anybody else but you. It never has been. It's always been about you. It always will be about you. And yes, there'll be other people like your loved ones who are here right now and are on the other side. But it's still about you. Are you living the life that you planned for you? And ask yourself that question and feel it in your heart. You'll know the answer to that. You'll sense what that is. Like, am I being my true self? You'll know what that is. Because if you are living your life as your true self, even with the grief, it's easier to rise up because you have a sense of purpose. You have a sense of meaning in your life because you know you're here for something, even if it's maybe for other people, because some people are here to support others in their life, like their family or friends, or just to hold the space and the energy. That is a very powerful purpose that many people have. But in any case, you have a purpose for being here. And your purpose isn't just to have this relationship with the person you love who's crossed over. They want to support you in being who you truly are, in finding your purpose, and most of all, in healing yourself. Okay. So ponder all that, sit with that, and understand that this can be the most extraordinary journey. And that's what you came here for. And that's the gift, strange as it may sound, that grief gives to us. The opportunity to heal ourselves on a deep level with their unconditional love leading the way and healing us and soothing us, right? And guiding us. It doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't. You're not alone in this world. You've never been alone. You can't be alone, even if you want to be alone. I hate to tell you this, because you're always surrounded by spirits, spirits who love you, who support you, doing everything they can to help you. And they're right here, right now. So think about what you're going to do to heal yourself. Right now, today, in this time and space, we just launched a healing intensive. We're calling it the Supernatural Love Healing Intensive. We're calling it that because it's going to be 14 days of healing that Ellen and I are offering. We're working through the veil, working on people to heal their issues, whether they're physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, you name it. And we're doing that beginning December 18th until December 31st. So if you're watching this and it's still in that time period, you know, look below. You find a way to contact us, look below. I don't think I put the link to our event, but I will later. But just know that the other side can help you to heal, but you've got to take the action, right? You've got to ask them to help you, and you have to be willing to do what you're guided to do. To do what you feel the impulse, the positive impulse to do. That's what I did. That's all I did. It wasn't anything complicated. I would say, well, that feels good. I want to do that. Or somebody'd say, offer me something else. And I'd go, no, I'm not feeling it, you know? But I could trust my instincts because I was clear, because I didn't have any baggage. So I wasn't taking all that info in and filtering it through my limiting beliefs. So I could trust my impulses, and I still do. Actually, I know that if I go with my first instinct, 100% on the mark, is when I start second guessing, like, again, starting to analyze. Now I got into trouble. Now I'm going off the rails here. And then I just say, okay, stop. I'm not going to think about this anymore, and I'll let it go. And sure enough, maybe the next day I'll get the idea. Because here's the deal. Because you and I are being guided all the time, and I promise you, your guys are trying to help you, they try to let us just take it in, like get the insight from our higher self initially. But if you're still struggling, you just let it go for a while and it'll come back, and you trust what drops into your mind. I have that happen so much now. It's like I take it for granted. I'll go, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't analyze. I never analyze. I just go with my first reaction, my first instinct, because if I'm in a calm place, I know I can rely on it. And sometimes it works out in ways that just blows my mind. But you can do that too. You can. Just be sure you're in a calm and neutral state, and then trust what comes in. You will start realizing that you've been guided, you've been helped this whole time. This whole time. All of us are, right? But it doesn't mean that they can live our life for us. It doesn't mean they can remove all the obstacles for us, because we're here for some of those challenges to grow from. Okay. So let me see. We have time. I'm going to close out with a brief meditation like we always do for people who stick around for our meditations. Okay. And the intention of this one, Alan is telling me the intention of this one is he's saying is to really expand your sensitivity. Okay, to really expand your senses, because that's important. When you begin to trust what you're imagining, meaning like what comes into your mind out of the blue, not you deliberately trying to think of something or visualize something, but whatever comes into your imagination. We say imagination rather than what comes into your mind, because that's not always how imagination can come in a multisensory way. It's not just mental. It's the physical sensations, emotional states, okay, feeling state, all that is what you hear What you see visually, yes, in your mind's eye, all that is all of your senses. See, that's imagination. Let's be clear. It's not just visual. It's all of your senses, and spirit uses all of them. And Alice says, why wouldn't we use all of them? We're going to use everything we can. We'll use the kitchen sink, he says. We'll throw that in too. But they're going to use all of your senses. So we're going to do a meditation to help you expand your senses. So be clear. Some of you might feel a bit overwhelmed because some of you have only opened it a little bit. And we're going to really ratchet things up a bit, okay, to see how far you can go. Don't worry, nothing unpleasant is going to happen, but you might just feel it really intensely if you've been kind of shut down. Okay, but the work that he and I do together can really blast doors open. So I'm just letting you know that we're programming this, that only something beneficial and useful will happen for you, or nothing will happen. That's kind of my mantra. So that nothing that is disturbing can ever happen. All right, so you're always safe with us. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Take another deep breath in through your nose. And exhale out your mouth and let go, let go, let go. Release, release, release. Take another deep breath in. And exhale. Relax, relax, relax. I don't know. I'm seeing, this is so funny. I'm seeing a beautiful Christmas tree. So I'd like you to imagine this. You don't have to imagine a Christmas tree, but imagine a beautiful, shining, golden star, like a star atop a Christmas tree. Imagine this star above your head. And don't worry if you can't see it in your mind's eye, it's okay. Maybe you can feel it or sense it in whatever way you can. So this golden, shimmering star that's radiant, glistening, is pouring its light down over you. It's like what I'm seeing is like all these sparkles of light flooding your aura, all this light coming down, cleansing, clearing, also opening you, right? You might feel it internally also, but what I'm seeing right now, it's more external, like it's just clearing the debris from your aura, clearing your field, your space. But now the energy is working inward. It's clearing you out on the inside, all right? Any emotional or mental debris, anything that doesn't belong to you is getting just kind of whisked away. Okay, it's just moving. It's just shifting. All right. There's no real barriers, even though, yeah, you have physical body that has a barrier. Energetically, there's no barriers. Okay. Energy can go through barriers. So this energy is just clearing everything external, everything internal that you're ready to let go of. We're just letting that cleanse and clear and activate. It's activating your sensitivity, because that's what happens when we clear all this gunk that's in the way, whether that gunk is limiting beliefs or fears or trauma. It's all gunk, energetic crap, if you will, pardon my expression. So we're just clearing all that out, right? And I'm just saying, spirit just really working some of you, just really turning it up and clearing it out, clearing it out, clearing it out, clearing it out. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's better. Okay, and now as the last residual bits of all this just leaves your space, leaves your body, leaves your field, right? You start to feel lighter. You start to feel brighter. You start to feel happier a little bit, right? Even if you're in grief, you start to feel a little bit uplifted, right? A little bit more inspired. It's okay. If it's only a minuscule, it's okay. You're feeling lighter, freer. You're coming back to being more of who you truly are. Can you feel that? Can you sense that? Can you imagine that? Imagining that isn't fantasy. Imagining that is creating it. So imagine it. Imagine yourself free and clear and happy and healthy and whole and vibrant and alive. Imagine yourself thriving. Imagine yourself feeling fearless and limitless because you are. Your spirit is. So you're beginning to tap into your spirit. And now we are activating your spirit body, even though you're not in your spirit body right now. You're still connected to it on an energy level. You're connected to everything that is. So why wouldn't you be connected to your spirit body? Of course you are. So you are connecting with that, feeling the truth of that, feeling the power of that, feeling that that is you. Okay, that is you. You're drawing from that, drawing from the strength that you have as a spirit. And in doing so, you're expanding your senses, you're expanding your energy body. It's opening up as fully as you can open it right now. Okay, so feel that expansion. Feel that opening around you. Feel how your field, your energy field, is just more vibrant and alive, is pulsing with energy. This is your core frequency as the source consciousness being that you are. And so you're stepping into that, you're being that, you're embodying that frequency. You know what that feels like. You can feel the excitement, the joy, the passion that is your frequency on a soul level. And now that you've felt it and been immersed in it, you know what that feels like, and you will never forget what that feels like. And so, in the next moment, in the next day, weeks, years to come, you will know it feels to follow your passion, what it feels like to follow your excitement. In other words, you'll know what it is to live as your core frequency and be who you truly are. Right? Feel that expansion. Your ability to perceive spirit is expanded. Your ability to see spirit is expanded. Your ability to hear spirit is expanded. Ability to taste, smell, everything is expanded. Your ability to know spirit is expanded. And your ability to be who you truly are has increased exponentially. So, can you feel into the power of that? Can you lock that in? Lock that into your beingness right now. And don't worry, you cannot lose this. All you have to do is remember it, even for a moment, tap into it, and it's yours. It will feel different when you tap into this memory, but it will still be the same core frequency. Because once you experience something, it's yours forevermore. You can connect to it, but it will be different because you're always different. So don't make the mistake of thinking you can't tap in again, because you can. It's never lost to you unless you believe it's lost to you. So know that this is who you are. Know that you can connect to your core frequency whenever you want to. And you're home and you're there. This is you, the real you, the limitless you. All right. I don't think we can do better than that. So we're going to kind of put a bookmark here and just say, we'll continue later eternally. So don't forget, if you want us to help you clear all the debris out of your basement and attic, floor to ceiling, whatever, we're here. Alan's putting on his mover's outfit, like he's gonna move furniture. We're here to help you. We're always here to help you. So let us know how we can help you. Look in the description box for all our services, and we will have the intensive event listed there. I haven't put it there just yet, but we will. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Okay, we're out of here. Lots of love. Happy holidays.